I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Oops, the podcast. I'm Francis, joined as always by my host, Giulio Gallerati.
Yeah.
Today we are learning, as we record, of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
It has begun.
And I, for one, am glad that I have chosen this moment to start really taking a lot of creatine, because I don't think there's ever been a more apt time in American history for our fighting men to bulk up.
Dude, they might need you.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, if nothing else, we want our guys looking big.
Need them ready to go.
I want people, we got to impose a muscular front.
The bigger you are, the more likely we are to get to the negotiation table faster.
That's exactly it.
When they see you standing there in your green beret.
You know what hasn't been good for my confidence?
What?
I've been watching a lot of Russian bare-knuckle boxing league fights.
Those guys are the real deal.
They wear jeans.
Dude.
They wear
crazy.
jeans and no shirts.
It's amazing.
Why are you wearing jeans? And it's always those sort of faded, skinny jeans that they wear in Russia. And then the ring is just hay bales in some basement.
Those
and
guys are
people
tough, huh?
Cheering them on. Oh my God.
Russians are tough people.
They sure are.
They sure are. I feel like those smacking competitions are Russian people too.
What are we doing?
Just smacking the shit out of each other, dude. That's crazy.
It's just nuts.
It's really nuts.
The problem with that slapping thing is that there's such a gray, I mean, not a gray area, but like
Dude, I know
you
what
hit
you're
someone
gonna
with
say.
your palm
Yeah.
here, that's a punch.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Whereas if you hit them with your fingers, it's
Are you
a
even
slap.
allowed to do that?
They do.
I know. It's like sometimes you don't hear the slap because you're just hearing the
It's
thud.
a thud. It's a punch.
Dude, fucked up.
Well,
Fucked up, dude.
okay, we have so much to catch up on.
Lots to uncover.
I have to say that after our last conversation about how I was in a music drought, I stumbled upon the musical stylings of one Jack Harlow, and oh my God, are we back?
You're back, baby.
I feel like I've discovered a trove of musical wonder that I didn't really know existed, and I am enamored of him.
He's cool.
By the way, really quick, people think the verb enamored, well, actually, I guess it's an adjective, takes the preposition with. I am enamored with him. I think the actual correct
By.
preposition is enamored of him.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is.
Most people will get that wrong.
I think I would have guessed by, as you could tell by the fact that I just guessed by.
You know, it could be that all of them work, honestly, but I think it's enamored of. Am I right? Ryan's giving me the thumbs up. That's what I like to see.
Well done.
Jack Harlow is putting out music right now that is, to me, exactly what I've been waiting for through all of this mumbly, jumbly, guttural nonsense that you guys have liked for so long.
Dude, he's very much fits right in with
Nope.
all of that.
Nope, that's
Dude, yes,
wrong.
dude,
His
yes.
beats have melody.
Dude.
There's a
Dude.
distinct hook.
Dude.
There is he's doing that thing that Drake does where he raps slightly to the tune of the beat. So it's like a little bit of a mix between sing and rap.
Dude, to be honest, I think I could say objectively that he's not doing anything groundbreaking. While I agree that he's very good, it's not like some unique new. Maybe you just like new hip hop more than you think, dude.
No, because, I go to listen to Quavo and these other people that you guys really like, and I don't know what's happening. It just sounds like I'm on hold on some, trying to buy knives or something. And
Dude, I promise you, there's many other guys like him out there.
Jack Harlow, I get it. I get what he's going for. I like the words. I like the way that his flow doesn't end where you think it's going to end. Sometimes he'll cut a line short in the measure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He doesn't rap all the way to the end of the bar.
Yes,
But then,
no.
does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That song he's got with Big Sean is unbelievable.
The new one?
I don't know. It came out. I don't think it's.
Was it the one you were
particularly
texting us about, or is this a different one?
new. Well, the nail tech is
Yeah,
his
yeah,
new
that's the
one,
new one.
and that that's just. Whew.
Mhm.
And there's something too where John Mayer posted on his Instagram a clip from Jack Harlow's music video, and John Mayer said that he had done some of the, I guess, synthesizing music for that interlude section of the song.
Oh,
It's like
cool.
a moment where there's no singing or whatever. And as soon as I saw that, it just made me like Jack Harlow and the song 10 times more.
That's great.
Because we all know that John Mayer follows Oops the Podcast on Instagram.
Which we're still trying to get
We
to the
still
bottom of
can't
that.
really figure out how he found his way to us.
And why he's remained a loyal follower.
But it is one of those things that we hold near and dear to our hearts.
Chris is making sure that he still follows us.
Don't look. I don't want to know. I'd rather live in ignorance if he's left our coop.
Well, dude, Francis, I don't understand why you liking Jack Harlow needs to also turn into an assault on my listening taste.
Because you guys have been wrong all this time.
He still follows us? Yes.
You guys have been
Bro,
wrong.
no, we haven't. We
All-
like Jack Harlow.
No, you know, here's the thing. None of the rappers that you guys like are like Jack Harlow.
Dude, don't forget Jack Harlow and I are boys, dude.
What?
We hung out for 5 hours one time.
Come
And
on.
I would say there's a 97% chance that he does not remember. He won't remember me, especially based on the fact that
Better chance
takes
that he
more than 5
remembers
hours.
you or the guy from Ludlow House.
I would say hopefully Jack Harlow. I
Well, but
I could remind him at least of the occasion, and he would go, "Oh," and pretend.
Yeah, but he's 23. You know, his memory's ripe. He's not some aged wanderer.
Dude, this is my thoughts on him. He's tall.
Is he?
Which I think is underrated. He's very tall. He's as tall as you, if not taller.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I would never have
He's
guessed
huge.
that.
Yeah, he's tall. He's charming. He has star power. He's a good sense of humor. He's good at rapping. He seems to be focused. I think he has a bright future.
You know, he raps big things like, my skin look good, I'm healthy. You know,
I like that.
I love that. I love a guy that's
I love
rapping
that.
about his skincare. The only issue I have, you say he's tall. I watched him in the NBA All-Star game, just a couple highlights from him from the NBA All-Star celebrity game. And he is utterly inept on a basketball court.
Mm.
He made a layup on a breakaway that, you know, it sort of looked like when you're teaching someone to play that. He threw it so hard off the backboard and it miraculously went in. There was no touch, no grace, nothing whatsoever. And then I listened to the great song Tyler Hero,
That was a good song.
where he's like, I'm down South Beach. My boy Tyler in the summer told me I had to work on my jumper. And I'm like, dude, you guys didn't do much work, did you? Like, your game is still not good, and you're training with NBA players? Get the fuck out of here, Jack.
Dude, two thoughts to that. First of all, Tyler Hero, one day he like broke a spread by like shooting a 3 from half court for no reason at the end of the game, which ended up losing me money. I like wasn't that upset about it, but I went on Reddit to try to like commiserate with my fellow bet losers. Like I didn't say anything, but like, dude, one guy goes, he starts being like, you fucking, he's like, Tyler Hero, you cultural appropriating fuck. He's like, I'm betting the under on your points for the rest of your career. I was like, that is so salty, dude.
Oh man,
These gamblers.
I
Dude, who were the standouts in the celebrity game before we move on?
I don't know. I
How did my boy
saw-
Anuel play?
Who?
Did you see him, Anuel? He played in the celebrity game. And
I
he
did
seems
not.
like has a good jump shot, but he's short.
The only thing I saw were a couple various clips of Jack Harlow on Twitter. So I didn't dive too
I didn't
deep.
watch either. I know J. Cole's good at basketball.
He's
he play?
spectacular.
Yeah, he's like almost league.
Well, he tried.
He's like D League.
Yeah. He was trying to follow in the footsteps of Master P,
Oh, I forgot Master
who was
P.
drafted.
Master P played for University of Houston.
Yeah.
And was very good.
Was very good.
That's sick, dude. Also, 2 Chainz played Division I basketball.
Is that right? 2
Yeah.
Chainz is super tall. I think
Yeah.
he's like 6'6" or something.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Not 6'6"? I think he's really tall.
I think,
Yeah.
really? Yeah. Right.
J. Cole went to St. John's D1 to play basketball,
I knew the University of Houston didn't sound right.
and then he
No, Master P went to University of Houston.
Oh, is
yeah,
that right?
yeah, you didn't say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He went to St. John's, and then he dropped out to pursue rap. I think right before before the season started.
Wow.
Must
So,
be nice
pretty
to be that talented.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'd love to hear sort of a compendium of stories of people who did that for whom it did not work out.
Right,
and
right,
what
dude.
they're doing now.
Me too. That's all I could think watching the Kanye documentary, which I know you've watched.
Oh my god,
Dude, when
I haven't
he's-
seen part 2 yet.
I haven't either. So when he's standing there, this isn't really a spoiler because like if you've listened to a College Dropout and you've listened to the last song, you're very familiar with this story to begin with. But he was like kind of bum rushed the Rockefeller office,
Yeah.
and was forcing people to listen to his music in a way that like 100% of the time is super cringe. It's easy to look back on a person who became a star and be like, I can't believe these people didn't see it.
Yeah.
But like, think about how often that story, the guy who's doing that is almost always terrible. You know what I mean?
It really reminds me of the story you told last week where you were in the car with that guy and he called his agent and was like, let me call my agent really quick. And they were like, yeah, never call here again. And he goes, what the fuck was that about?
It's one of the craziest.
Funniest things I've ever heard you say.
Dude, that was a funny one, bro. I know. It's crazy, man. You need the blind belief, but it's sad because like we only hear the stories of like how it worked out for people.
Mhm.
Like the amount of people who have the same work ethic as like the best player of something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
just can't quite cut it. It's tough.
Yes, it is. I mean, look, I think there's so much. I'm glad we're talking. This is good.
Good
The
discussion.
Kanye thing. You know, Kanye, the thing that was interesting about Kanye was that even at 19 and 20, he was such a talented producer and had distinguished himself with H to the Izzo and a bunch of, beats for Jay-Z and DMX.
Dude, even seeing him with Mace, I
Yeah.
didn't realize he was like even in the mix at that point.
Right. I mean, he had tons of belief, but like, I think there's a part of me that, wonders, okay, it's one thing to have that level of self-belief and to be that relentless and just not caring that you're bothering people by putting your work in front of them if you're just like on the streets and you're not making any money, right? And there's desperation to it.
Right.
But
Right.
for Kanye to basically be forcing people to consider him for a pivot, right?
Right. It's
Which
a
is what
slightly,
that was,
yeah.
is I don't know if that's more remarkable or if it's less remarkable because
I hear you.
he's making enough money. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
like,
he's doing
my
fairly
back's
well.
not against the wall. I'll just sell another beat. And he was doing that. He was like,
Right.
I guess I gotta go sell another beat. I'll do another thing. And he's not giving he was like, I'm not giving my beats away for free, which I totally understood. I did find that character study of him, watching his facial expressions, he had so much belief in what he was doing and he felt it so strongly. And he was right.
Totally.
He was right to the 10,000th degree.
Yeah. And it was nice to see the people who believed in him. And some of it was stuff that I had known about. Others, it was like surprising. But it was nice to see. And you got to remember at that time, it was like a much more, the vibe was a lot more of like a street vibe as they sort of talk about in the doc,
Mhm.
but it is true. And yeah, like co-signing him aged extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
But it is funny. And to your point, like the pivot, is it more impressive since he had been pigeonholed as a producer, or would it have been more impressive if he had just busted the door down as a nobody? I still think busting the door down as a nobody is maybe more impressive. He has a little bit of leverage since he has the best beats.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're like,
Mhm.
all right, we got to sort of keep this guy happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't fully tell him to fuck off, even though they sort of rolled their eyes in his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But dude, it really spoke to me about how you can really write your own narrative. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You might feel a certain way at one point, but like no new Kanye fans know about that.
Right.
Know that he was just a producer, even if they've like heard the story or whatever. Like if you weren't really around then, it's hard to know that like nobody really thought of him as a rapper.
Right.
Then. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he sort of transcended it now. He's like everything.
Exactly. Now he can, he's just this
just a force.
creative god. That's what he is.
He's literally
he
a creative
creates
god.
worlds in every vertical.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, this topic of becoming known for something and wanting to do something else is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Where, we see people who become famous or become known for doing one thing, and then they try to expand. And sometimes we, society, allow it to happen seamlessly.
Mhm.
And other times we resist and say, no, that's not who you are. Who do you think you are trying to jump into this thing? Take, for example, Justin Timberlake, right?
Mhm.
Justin Timberlake was a brilliant singer, musician, right? Dancer, boy band, all that shit. And then out of nowhere, he's in the Facebook movie,
Mhm.
which is a great movie. It's a brilliant movie. It's one of the
solid,
best
yeah.
movies
And he's
ever.
good in it too.
And I remember watching that. I think he had done like one other or two other movies before that were dog shit that everyone scoffed at. And
Alpha
then
Dog.
yeah. Did you see that?
I don't know if that was before or after. I've never seen it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Aaron Sorkin cast him in the Social Network, which was, again, I mean, a movie that was highly anticipated, and he was great. He
Yeah.
played the annoying
Sean,
Napster.
what's it called?
Yeah,
What's that guy's name? Sean Parker?
Sean Parker. Yeah, from the Napster founder, and all of a sudden, Justin Timberlake was an actor, and nobody had any issues with it. And that was interesting, right? But here's another example. So Theo Vaughn,
Ah, yeah.
good friend of mine,
Great example.
and I know I'm name dropping there, but I say that because he is very nice to me.
You're not even name dropping. I was name dropping by saying Jack Harlow and I are extremely
But
close
that
friends.
was cool because I mean Jack Harlow,
Extremely good
best
friends.
rapper since Eminem. So Theo Vaughn, right? Early in his career, I mean, his first moment of any public notoriety was doing the MTV Road Rules thing,
Mhm.
for which he, was featured for a couple of seasons, and he was just this kid from New Orleans or Louisiana or whatever, who got plucked out and placed on this show and said all these zany things, and people really liked him, but he was only like 20 years old, 19, 20, 21. You go back and look at him and you're like, wow, that's young. And then nobody, I guess unbeknownst to a lot of people probably, he was pursuing stand-up comedy after that for years, years and years and years, and was getting slowly better and better and better. And he got a Netflix special. And when he got that Netflix special, people were like, is that Theo from Road Rules?
Yeah.
And
And he had been trying to sort of like outrun that reputation for a long time.
he was
too.
trying to shed it.
And has.
Finally.
It took him a while.
It took him
though.
15 years. And also achieving a level of ability in comedy that
He's very funny.
is so
I think he's so
undeniable
funny.
that like everyone's like, oh, I can't believe he ever did that MTV Road Rules thing. I only know him as a comedian now.
Yeah.
He has so firmly redefined himself, and it's a testament to his ability. And I still remember the time that we had him on our radio show at Barstool, and he was like, I was texting with him, and he was like, yeah, the only thing I don't really want to talk about is the Road Rules stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, interesting. I'm curious. Why not? And he was like, I've talked about it before. I'm done with that chapter of my life. Like, I don't want it. So he made a real point to not even bring it up.
Yeah.
He didn't want it brought up. He didn't want anyone talking about it anymore. And, I thought that was really interesting. So
It's a difficult transition for the reality person to sort of do anything else besides like hosting.
right.
You'd think that in theory, doing stand-up would be a logical thing for them to do because they've been themselves in public already. They can continue to do it. For some reason, the industry sort of looks at it as lowbrow entertainment.
Right.
And there's definitely a big learning curve. And you also just kind of like get bullied, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people we know who did reality, who now try to do comedy, they get bullied.
Well,
Whether it's to their face or they can feel it in the air. And I'm impressed when they kind of stick with it.
Yeah. Hannah Berner. We had Hannah Berner on the podcast early. I mean, it was
Episode 3,
one of the first
right?
first episodes of the podcast.
Maybe episode 2, yeah, right?
And Hannah's great, and Hannah had made her name on Summer House.
Episode 4, Ryan confirming.
Yeah, she was big on Summer House on Bravo, and we asked her when she came on the pod, do you fear that doing reality TV might somehow pigeonhole you in your career or limit your options for what you can do later on? And she had a great answer to that.
I forget what she said.
Well, I think she said that given the tools of Twitter and Instagram and all of this, that she felt like, unlike reality stars of the past who don't necessarily have control over what the producers chop up and put on the show, which defines you, now you have all these outlets to connect with your fans away from the show, her podcast,
True.
her Twitter, all this stuff. And she's able to kind of build her career in conjunction with whatever they're putting out. And, she's since left Summer House and is now a full-blown comedian, touring her podcast with Paige, her friend from Summer House, and they're fucking selling out theaters.
And doing road stuff on her own as well.
So,
she's another person where I watch her and I'm kind of like, not like on stage, just like watch her life. And I'm like, how does she have so much energy? She really gets a lot done.
Yeah.
She gets a lot done. And I'm wondering, I'm like, how does she do so much?
It makes you realize that we probably could do more.
Right.
Which is always a sad wake-up call.
Dude, to be honest, I don't know that I could. Like maybe.
Do you think that?
I don't know. Like I'm sure I could, but like I don't know that I could ever have the output the way that she does.
All right. So that's a great point, which is, okay. Yeah,
I'm sure I could improve.
2 days ago, I had a very full day.
Did it feel good?
I had a day where I had to wake up early and go into the city. And then I had to get home and scarf down a lunch as fast as possible and hailed it. Yeah. And then I think I ate it standing, that kind of a lunch. Like I worked at a restaurant.
That's like that's a surefire way to tell somebody's like anorexic if you're not sure.
Oh,
if they're
really?
Eating standing up. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Weird side.
No, I didn't know that. And then I had things all day, and then I had a show at night, and then I finally got home and I climbed into bed and my head hit the pillow and I had the thought of, wow, I really earned it. I earned my sleep. I had, that was a full day. That was a life well lived today.
It's a good feeling.
And it was a good feeling. And then the next day I actually went back and asked myself, was every minute accounted for? Was there blank space? Did I dawdle at any point? And there was like a 2-hour chunk from like
but you need a pit stop,
11:30 in the morning until I don't even know when it was exactly, where I was like fucking around watching Champions League highlights on YouTube.
But dude, you can't, like, when are you gonna, because you have a show, like when are you gonna relax? You have to relax. You need the pit stop.
But listen,
you got to change the tires.
Listen, this was my defining day. This was my day where I said, wow.
Right.
If I lived every day that way, I would be the president of the United States of America. If I could truly maximize my time as much as I did that day, that day was unlike any other. That was an aberration. And yet, even on my aberration day,
your finest day,
I still had time where I was like, screwing around. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I do wonder about the days of these people we look up to and how much screwing around time they're doing.
Yeah, I've tried to, like, any time where I'm feeling, kind of like, oh, why am I not doing that kind of thing? I try to, like, spin that in a positive way, which I've found to be effective. Like, okay, instead of wondering, instead of like having negative feelings about things and people or whatever, it's like, what are they doing right? You know what I mean? And like, that's an interesting thing to observe. And, in the quest for improvement, like, what could I be doing? What, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bill Gates in his documentary, Inside Bill's Brain, takes a week every year. I think he calls it Think Week,
Oh, that's cool.
where he just goes off on his own with a canvas bag full of books and basically just reads all day.
That's crazy.
And that's his week where he doesn't do much business planning. He's not on his phone. He's not emailing. He's out. He's off the radar. And yet he's still reading like 600 pages a day, 700 pages a day.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Now,
That's
obviously,
a lot of pages.
Hey, let's switch gears for a second.
What's up?
I had shows last weekend in New Jersey, and you know who came?
Who?
Ryan's family. Ryan's family came to our shows. Came to my shows. They were all there. His mom, his dad, and his younger brother, Chris.
That's crazy.
And they
Really?
were fine people.
I love
They
it.
were fine people.
Thank
Good
you.
folks.
Thank you. They're
You-
very excited to see you.
You are a very clear mathematical outcome of such fine people. I see where it comes from. You know? Like if you had a neck tattoo and gauge earrings, I'd be like, what happened? You know, where did this go wrong? Like what sort of paint thinner did they have under their sink that they lost their son this way? But no, not even close. Just a great group. And it was tough. It was a tough show. I'm not going to
Really?
lie. There was one table of 15 people. Hang on, Ryan. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
You know, what did your folks have to say after the show?
My mom sent me a selfie just smiling, saying, I saw Francis.
Nice.
It was so nice to see Francis.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother was like, I met Francis tonight. And then my dad said that he had a beer. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. It was awesome. I'm glad that they got to meet you
Yeah.
and they were excited to meet you. And it was good. And they said they had a great time at the show.
That's good. Yeah, I felt really bad. Your dad asked if after the show if they could buy me a drink, and you know, the show was at Bananas, which is in a hotel, and I kind of wanted to just go home instead of have a drink in a hotel. No offense to Bananas, and certainly none to Ryan's family, but I just wanted to get back, and I had to drive, so you know I was not thinking about drinking too much. But you know, awesome weekend. Was really fun to meet your family. I want to meet Chris's family.
Yeah, Chris's family is the final family to come to see Francis.
I want an official Italian. Well, we should go out there. I want to have an official Italian dinner with your family, and I want to eat
That'd be
alongside your grandfather, who only insists on eating Italian food. And I don't know. Maybe that's in the works if we ever find ourselves up in Westchester.
I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
That's great, dude. The place, Bananas claims to have discovered Jimmy Fallon.
Is that right?
Yeah. Do they still? I mean, maybe now that the new owners own it, they don't like harp on the nostalgia. But like before,
There's definitely less nostalgia now. They've taken off
all the pictures,
all
and
those
shit.
pictures are gone. 'cause
And
they're in a
is
new
the
place.
monkey still on the stage?
No, there's no.
Remember the
there's
monkey?
no sort of dais. There's no.
That's good. That's good.
There's nothing. Yeah.
There used to be a monkey on the stage. I used to host there. I've told this story in the pod before, but like I had to run down the highway to get there.
They asked about you.
Really?
They want you back.
No, they didn't.
I'm not lying.
Who's
And
they?
The booker, the woman who runs it, Denise.
I thought they sold it.
Well, she still runs it,
That's hilarious.
but it's owned by the Helium guys now.
Wow. Dude, good old Denise.
They
man.
want you back.
Dude, that's so funny. I have a place in my heart for Denise. She's
great.
one of the few comedy bookers who just gives you feedback, either both before you go on and after you get off. Sometimes it's good feedback. Other times it's like, okay. But like
Mhm.
one time, yeah, dude, I just will never forget. Like it'll be right before you go on stage. And essentially the feedback is to change how you do comedy. Like it'll be like, try not talking about this. And I'm like, okay, so do you want me to just stand there in silence? Like that's what I'm planning to
Oh
talk
man,
about. But no, I haven't been there in a while, but that's nice to hear that they still want me. Was her husband there?
no. But
It's a good time.
I mean, the Friday shows were fine. The Saturday show was electric. It was the best comedy audience I've had in a long time. You know, nuts. Just nuts. And so much fun. It's so strange how, you know, there's so many factors that go into an audience being great. And sometimes it all just comes together. And then sometimes you could, like, okay, here's an example. So Friday night, the Late Show, plenty of people
10
there.
o'clock?
Yeah, plenty of people there, but there was one table of 15. And they did not care at all that there was a comedy show going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ordering drinks in full voice,
Mm-hmm.
asking each other, what are you having? What are you having? You know, sort of giving feedback discussing jokes amongst themselves after they'd finished the joke, after I'd finished the joke, right? Like I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, she ghosted me or something. And they'd be like, huh, remember that time so-and-so ghosted you? And then they'd have a conversation. And they're right. I mean, it's a small room.
Yeah.
And you can't get mad at them because they're such a big group that they account for like 25% of the audience.
Yeah.
So you can't kick them out. You don't want to alienate them. And you're trying to just work with them. In fact, I was playing to them, hoping that by giving them more attention, they would come to my side. But they didn't care at all. And it was so tough. But then on Saturday, everyone, you know, twice as many people, and yet everyone was on the edge of their seat, like
loving it
listening
all.
to me as if I was, you know,
Jordan
a
Peterson.
televangelist. Yeah, exactly. Good old JP. World's most confusing man.
Dude, sometimes in those situations when I have there's a troubled group and I'm trying to get them to like pay attention and I'm spending too much time on them, I start to feel like bad. Like I forget what book this was, but we were reading some novel in high school and they were talking about how like the troubled kid will get more attention from the parents and the good kid just inevitably doesn't need as much, but then ends up being neglected. And I start to feel like that about the audience and I start to feel guilty. And I'm like, these people who are behaving perfectly well and are not getting the attention they deserve, and the troubled sore thumb is getting all the attention.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a crisis.
It's a good point. You know, it's I think we do that a lot in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Like being, you know, sort of a little bit. Have you been watching Pam and Tommy?
No, it's good.
It's good.
I gotta check it out.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. And you know what else I started?
What?
Euphoria.
Oh, yeah.
Guys.
You liking it?
Euphoria is the Jack Harlow of TV shows. I mean, it is, you know, I get it. It is so
good.
Gen Z, and I love it. I feel like I get Gen Z now. I understand.
How deep are you?
4 episodes in. I mean, but
Nice.
we're watching like 2 a night, which
Yeah.
is a lot for us.
Yeah, it's good.
2 to 3. You know, I mean, man, I've never seen it. I don't know. I'm willing to say right now that from a framing perspective and from a directing perspective, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
The shots,
Yeah.
the way they take their time with their transitions, they hold on faces. There's tons of slow-mo, but it doesn't feel overwrought.
They take liberties with format too. Like the episodes aren't the same. It's good. It's good stuff.
It's all over the place and it's unique. This guy, Sam Levinson is his name.
I know.
You know, I looked him up. He'd done a couple things before of, you know, but nothing that was as groundbreaking as this.
The show's a hit.
What a hit, dude.
Dude, my favorite guy is Yo Roo, you tripping.
What's his name? Fur?
What the fuck's his name, dude?
The drug dealer.
Yeah.
Fez.
Fezco.
Yeah. He looks like Mac Miller.
He does, dude.
I thought it was
really
Mac
does.
Miller at
he
first.
He really does. It's kind of like trippy sometimes. You're
Yeah.
like, R.I.P.
I know. I mean, it's just an amazing show. Obviously, there's some. I think that a little bit. I think that Nate is a little cartoon. I think he's a little bit of a caricature.
Interesting.
You know, the whole like high school quarterback.
Mhm.
You know, if a guy like, again, I'm only 4 episodes in, no spoilers here, but if a guy at a high school, even the quarterback of the football team, started threatening violence against a girl at your high school at a party, like somebody would fucking step in. I'm sorry.
You got to keep watching, bro. You got to keep watching the show.
Yeah.
But I agree with the feedback in general. There's sort of like, okay, this fucking guy. But
You can't just beat people
you gotta keep
up.
You gotta, no, totally. You gotta keep
I don't
watching.
care where you are in America. I mean,
You got to keep watching.
yeah.
You got to keep watching.
Oh, ooh. Well,
Not
maybe,
gonna-
maybe I will,
No
dude.
spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, Zendaya is great. She's
She's
very
so good.
understated in her
So good.
acting. I'm impressed. She's got a cool look. She wears those long shorts like she's in the N1 mixtape tour.
Dude, there's one character. I've been trying to figure this out. That, by the way, was not an underappreciated comment. The long shorts, like the N1 mixtape
It's
tour.
okay. We flew by it.
Dude, I was walking uptown the other day and I just saw like fucking dozens of 12-year-old girls dressed like that.
So is this show influencing the hell out of
I think
that
it must be.
generation of people?
Style-wise, it has to be.
How young are the watchers of this show? How young does it go?
I think any age that you're allowed to. You know what I mean? If you like are on TikTok and shit, Euphoria's all over TikTok.
Dude, if I had a
If your parents let
14-year-old
you-
daughter, I would not want her watching this show. Think about this.
Yeah, no, I
Dude, there's
understand the
rape,
argument, but
there's fucking horrible drug scenes. I don't care. I mean, again, I'm early in the show, but this show is not deterring people from doing drugs. As far as I can tell. It's not. And hard drugs, really hard drugs at a really young age.
I don't want to say more.
There's full
since you've
blown
only-
hard dicks. There's dicks
There's a lot of dick.
everywhere.
There's a lot of dick.
There's so much dick.
Mm.
I mean, you know, there's more dick than there is boob,
There's a lot of dick.
as far as I can tell.
A lot of pee-pee. There is, though. There is a lot.
Chris, do you watch this show? You watching these show? Chris is my resident Gen Z guy.
I watched like 7 episodes in the past 3 days.
Oh shit!
So I'm super up on it. Yeah, I have.
Wait,
those-
have you watched
Chris,
all
can
the
you-
episodes?
I'm on the season finale of season 1. That's what. I'm
Oh, so
watching.
you're.
But I haven't
you're not
until
far
like
ahead
3
of.
days ago.
You hadn't watched it. How is it?
Well, I had watched
Chris-
the first
Okay, sorry,
episode, but it was just like so much.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
a
like,
lot.
oh my god! And then I just didn't watch it, and then something happened, and I was just like, let me just watch it. And the
Ryan,
story.
are you caught up? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chris. Ryan has finished season 1. Chris, continue.
Yeah, the story is, I mean, the cinematography and the edit is
Yeah.
just like unbelievable. I
unbelievable.
just like am in awe of it. And the story is obviously great. And just like the whole production of it, I've just like fallen in love with how they shot it. And
Yeah.
the editing is like for a show, like,
It's
and the
crazy.
music, I love all the
Music's-
music. It's like the music
Drake
that I
and
listen
Future
to. Like,
curated it, right?
yeah. They're like,
Drake's the producer on the show.
yeah, they're like executive producers. They're like listed second and third.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I've like fallen in love with everything besides the story, but then that makes me like love the story just as much.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah. But like, don't you agree the first episode is just so much?
It's a lot
And
for
then
sure.
I was just like, oh my God, I want to like relax at the end of the day. This
Yeah.
is like a lot, but then it's obviously not as intense in all of those
Hill
episodes.
Dog agrees with you.
I've been told that the ensuing seasons are actually a little less jarring.
Well, I think the first episode, they're just trying to tell the story, and it's just all this shit happens at once.
Yep.
yeah.
So it's just like a lot, but it's not as dramatic because it spans across a lot of shit happens, but it spans across like 7 episodes.
You know what's wild? This is like that term, you know,
Which one?
where you haven't heard of a concept and then all of a
Oh,
sudden
yeah.
you start hearing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Because we started this, and then this morning I woke up, Andrew Schultz. He's like, I just started watching Euphoria. This shit's crazy or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is it that what happened culturally that all of a sudden people are jumping on now? Because it's not like the new season just started, right? Or maybe it
No,
did.
it did.
How many
The-
seasons are
Two.
out?
The second season.
Final episode comes out. Well, I
Yeah.
guess it's out by the time this episode comes out, but the final episode is on Sunday.
Yeah.
of
Season-
Season 2.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
But
What is the name of the episode?
no, that's the phenomenon.
The frequency illusion.
But
is
this
what
is
Ryan
this is
said.
my point, right? We're whatever 9/10 of the way through season 2. Why would all of a sudden this be the moment when so many people are jumping on board the ship?
I will say that a lot of hit shows land during season 2.
True.
That is a thing. I remember that with Entourage. I remember
Mhm.
like binge watching Entourage.
Yeah.
But
You know what's nice is that with Euphoria, it's almost such a cultural phenomenon that we are not hearing from all those fucking losers who are like, "You're just starting now." I've been watching it from the jump. I set my clock to it. We reserve Sunday. Is it on Sunday nights? Fuck those people. Like, let us come on board. Now, having said that, I read Harry Potter, book 1, before anyone knew what it was.
While she was still writing it.
Exact. Honestly, I was reading the napkins
You read
she
the
was
first
throwing out
draft.
that she was scribbling on, and I was telling people about it. And the fact that I didn't even get a look to audition for some of those Weasley brothers is like a little.
Not cool, dude.
It's always been a little bit of a sore spot
Not
for me.
cool.
I think that because it is an appointment, what is it called? Like
Appointment
appointment television.
Viewing, yeah.
Like
Oh.
it's constantly in the loop. Like it's not just a one-time show. It's like
Yeah, that's true.
Tiger King was cool for like whatever 3 weeks, and then you never hear about it. But this season's been going on since like January 1st to February. That's
Right.
like 2 months.
That's
and
interesting.
it's just always there, and you're like, all right, maybe I should watch it. And
Yeah.
then you give it a chance because people are always talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to
That
ask you
might
a
be
question about one of the characters. So Cassie, who was naked a lot in the show, I had
She was in White Lotus,
she
right?
was, and I remember seeing her in White Lotus, and she plays like a much more understated part in that show, and I would argue has a lot of range for playing two characters who are similar aged, kind of whatever. But she was saying how she started to get critical acclaim after White Lotus. Whereas in Euphoria, you could argue her performance was just as impressive, if not more, just because of how much had to be done. But she was saying that nobody was really talking about it because she got naked. And I think that's an interesting
Huh.
discussion because I think she's probably right, dude.
You think that getting naked discredits her, or that people are not as willing to talk about it because what's the idea
I think the
there?
former. I think it's like the fact that you getting naked discredits you or something,
Oh,
which I don't feel that way, but it's an interesting.
honestly, I have no idea. That's just one of those things that I cannot speak to
Mhm.
because I'm a cis white male.
Right. I mean, but still, like,
You know what I mean, though?
Yes, totally.
Like, I feel like that's what I'm supposed to say, and I'm sure that there is some merit to it. Like, what the fuck do I know about the credibility of being a 20-year-old actress? I don't even think we're supposed to say actress anymore. A female actor who, compares two roles, one where she takes her clothes off and the other where she doesn't,
Mhm.
and all of the acclaim is for the one where she's clothed. And what do we attribute that to? Like, how do I comment on that?
No,
I don't know
totally.
shit about that.
So, but even just for discussion's sake, like the idea of that is an interesting thing to think about. It had been sort of in front of my face, and I know that like certain people, some of the great actors of our generation, that like I don't know, have said specifically that they shy away from that because they think that it is a discrediting thing, and it's an interesting like topic, I guess.
Yeah, but my guess is that there are also movies or TV shows where actors and actresses have gotten naked, where people have lauded them for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think of Halle Berry in Monsters Ball, which was a very graphic sex scene
Yeah.
with Billy Bob Thornton, for which, I mean, she won Best Actress for the movie.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, like, it certainly wasn't causality. She didn't win because of that scene,
Mm-hmm.
but her performance in general was so incredible that I think it didn't matter.
Right.
I have no idea. Again, I
I don't know. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Can you believe this, by the way? Quick note. Cis, CIS, you know that term. Cis.
Yes, I do.
That's 3/7 of my name.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
I have it in my name.
That's crazy.
Francis.
How have we? Did you just
Letter
think
for
of that?
letter.
Dude, that's hilarious.
3/7 of my name. I think that's like what is it? You know, it's like
I can't do
0.28.
that.
It's
I
like
can't do that
it's
fraction in
point.
my
It's
head.
0.42 or 0.43%. It's 43% of my name.
Nearly half.
Can you look up 3/7 as a decimal? I think. Wait, don't tell me first, really quick. I think it's gonna be like, yeah, it's 42.28 42.28% or 0.29% if you round it, because it's 5/7 after that.
That's very good.
Yeah, 1/7 is 0.142857 and 2/8 is 0.285714. Anyway,
I wish you guys could see the look on Ryan's face. Oh, you can see the look on Ryan's face. That's awesome.
I like to do math for Ryan.
Shout out to the multicam setup.
The sevenths are funky
That was very
decimal
impressive,
points.
dude. That was some solid math on the fly. You know.
Well, you know me.
Oh yeah.
Knowing a lot of stuff that doesn't help.
Dude, that helps. Being able to do that helps. There's conversion with that. Like people who can do that tend to just excel.
Yeah, all my friends are making a lot of money doing that.
As long as you can be semi-personable, just because like that skill tends to come with like social ineptitude.
Yeah.
If you can like figure out how to talk to people.
And I know that stuff, and yet I chose a career where, you know, unfortunately, reciting sevenths as decimals isn't exactly funny. Doesn't exactly bring the laughs down at the old stand.
All right, guys, for my closing bit, hit me with a fraction. 11 over 29.
You guys ready for some mental math?
Dude, that's great. Wait,
Well,
what were we talking about?
We've been talking about Euphoria.
No,
and
we're talking about
nudity
nudity.
being
Oh,
taken
dude.
seriously.
So it is funny because, like, okay, one scene that, like, a nude scene that changed my life, rest her fucking soul. Kelly Preston and Jerry Maguire naked changed my life, dude.
Is she the girlfriend in the early when he
early
first starts dating?
sex scene? That was like the most triggering thing of my development. That scene.
Why?
Because it was just like I just thought that she was like a goddess. I don't not think that now. I agree still. I just am now a more well-rounded individual who is not as easily triggered by things like this.
Nice. Well said. Good growth.
Good growth. But dude, that shit fucked me up, dude. Seeing that was like problematic. I was like, what do I do? How do I accept the fact that I'm not going to be able to ever do that?
Oh, that's what you already felt
maybe
inadequate?
Perhaps.
As what? As the recipient of her lovemaking?
So let's just say that was part of it, but also the fact that I couldn't that moment participate was also frustrating.
In the scene, I know the scene. I know the scene. She's running the show.
She goes, "Don't ever stop fucking me." And he goes, "Sooner or later, I'll have to stop."
He says that?
Yeah. And then she's like, "Ah." And it's just like this insane, like 20-second sex scene that just wasn't quite long enough. I would have liked to see the extended cut as a 14-year-old. But that was a big moment for me. But to the point, you know, you just, I don't know, whatever. That was sort of a side. That was sort of a side tangent.
Ryan liked that.
Ryan's enjoying this. I like
At that moment at 14,
I knew
you would not have been able to satisfy a grown woman,
a gorgeous
with
grown
very, you know, lofty career ambitions who would take her, you know, take it out on the men she worked with, basically.
Okay, let's wrap it up with an email.
All right.
This one's called "How to Move Forward."
Oh,
okay, here we go. Hey, Julian Francis, longtime listener of the pod and big fan. What is this, Japan? Love it. Appreciate your perspectives. The reason I'm writing you is to get your advice on how you would approach my situation or any words of wisdom you may have. I'm in my mid-20s, working in commercial real estate, and genuinely enjoy what I do. I'm going to put everything on the table. When in college, I would have considered myself charismatic and full of life. Being a part of multiple clubs, organizations, wholeheartedly enjoyed meeting new people. I made the choice my senior year to pursue a career in the military, following a passion to serve against my family's approval. I felt proud about my decision and spoke openly about this career choice, but prior to shipping, I got injured, canceling my pipeline for training.
Wow.
After getting multiple medical waivers from doctors and feeling 100% ready to go, COVID was in full effect and delayed any possibility to start my training. Eventually, I was forced to get out of the military because my contract technically expired. I want to say that I take full responsibility for not leaving when I was supposed to and take accountability for the situation. From my original ship date to my discharge took 2 years. During this time, I lived at home in a negative environment with my parents. I love my parents and appreciate them allowing me to live at home, but it was not a healthy environment. Seeing my classmates get jobs, houses, cars, and progress in life while I was living at home, bouncing from shitty job to shitty job, put me in a dark place. During this time, I created a nihilist attitude towards life, and for a long time, I avoided conversations about my job and experience in the military. I honestly have a hard time having conversations with new people now, knowing what to say other than having a surface level bullshit conversation. Things eventually changed when I moved out and found this job. I still encounter feelings of imposter syndrome, which is mentally debilitating. A part of me feels this chapter of my life is unresolved. I have a hard time, quote, mapping my life with this conflict of whether to join again or be done with military service altogether.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So does he have a question at the end there?
That's the question, I think. It's like he
Yeah, I get it.
feels like, I don't even know. It's like,
I get it. I mean, okay, let's work backwards.
Yeah.
The first thing is you should never join the military, I don't think, to sort of, I guess, fill in an unresolved part of your life that was the military. You're not like, you know, this guy was very gung-ho, signed up. That's great. All sorts of external factors contributed to him not having the military experience that he thought he was going to have. And now, for the sake of conversation, he's kind of considering going back and doing it so that it can be a more, I guess, real badge for him to wear and to talk about. I don't think that that's the right way to think about it.
So, yeah, no, I agree. But
If that's it, and maybe I'm mischaracterizing, but like that, let's put it this way, right? Let's say that I made the decision to climb Everest and I was all set to go. And then, you know, I had told a bunch of people that I was going over there, I was going to do it. And I trained and all that, bought my permits, bought my gear, had my guides, my flights, everything. Weather gets terrible. The whole trip is canceled. Years, COVID happens. Years go by. And now, you know, I'm nervous to have conversations with people because I know that if the Everest thing comes up, I have to constantly tell them, yeah, it didn't work out. I'm not going back to Everest years later simply to like prove them wrong or, you know, change the tone of those conversations that I'm worried about having so that I can now actually say I did go.
Right.
The only reason to go back to Everest is because it matters to me. It's a self-determined desire. This is for me. This is what I want.
Right. Right.
That's my take.
Yeah, agreed. And honestly, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with just like a real update about what happened and what's happening.
I completely agree.
That's how you get past the surface level bullshit. You just talk about what happened. And this is another important thing. I think an important lesson here for anybody at any point in time in their life is you kind of have to remain flexible. Like you can plan things, but like you got to listen to the wind a little bit. You know, if cool new opportunities come up and you find yourself in a new place that you never expected, that's not bad.
Right.
You know, and like, who knows? You can only plan so much. So like, if you would just end up never joining the military, that is in no way a knock against your plan to join the military. You had intended to join.
It's not like he deserted.
You have an interesting story about why it has not worked out yet. Now you have a new good job. Like, don't be so married to the plan, dude. Like maybe this is how it was meant to be for you. You know, I'm not like a destiny person by any means, but like things have worked out in a way that sound all right, you know? And I know that you went through a tough time kind of as any young 20s person does, trying to figure out their life and find their way. I would argue that that's a pretty tough age for a guy.
Yes.
You know, from like post college up until 25, like you're just thrown out to the fucking wolves. All of a sudden, everybody treats you like an adult. all the girls are like going out with older established guys and like you can't really hack it and it sucks, you know? So like you're not unique for going through that. And you know, do whatever the fuck you want, but like, don't be so married to the idea just because you decided one day you were going to do it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. This is such a great answer from Julio. I really completely second everything you said. And this idea that, you know, look, you're looking at that age for purpose and who you are and all of that. And he had certainly tacked a lot of his self-definition to, I would think, the military, right? And if you keep an open mind, as Julio said, you'll find other things that will define you, whether it's a hobby or your work, and you know, just staying open. Again, just everything Julio said, I think is spot on. Your 20s are a total time of puzzlement, uncertainty. Every day you wake up and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do today? I don't like my job. You know, should I leave? What am I supposed to be doing? And the answer, I think, if you have the luxury of flexibility, is trying new things, trying new things professionally, forging ahead, you know, meeting different people, dating different people, traveling, whatever it is.
It's not a waste of time.
No.
You will learn something, and by learning, you'll learn things, and you will also learn whether or not you like that thing, which will just get you closer to the thing that you want to be doing. You know?
Yeah, that's it. That's good.
Go
Very
out
nice.
there and get it, guys.
Go get it.
I guess that's it. What's going on, Francis?
Oh boy. April 8th and 9th, Gotham Comedy Club, New York City. Francis Ellis headlining my big New York weekend. I hope to see you guys there. Tickets are selling. Go to francisellis.com. You'll get those tickets before they sell out.
Yeah, and also,
What about you?
I'm assuming tickets are going to be sold out by now, but March 24th in Boston, we have
That's right.
potentially a 2 show. I don't know.
Our
We probably
second
shouldn't even talk
show,
about
our
this.
second show of City
don't
Winery. We
even know
listed
yet.
it. We haven't really promoted it yet, so there
Is it
may
up?
be some tickets. Yes, it's up.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There may be some tickets left. If you got smoked on the first one, because that sold out very quickly, there are some tickets up. But if they're sold out by the time of this airing, apologies.
Apologies.
We'll be back.
And I got some more dates coming up. So thank you guys and adios.